So now we're going to analyze a cash sale. Again, we're going to start by putting our all crew memory aid. This is just one choice. There's all kinds of different options out there. All crew, so assets, liabilities, capital, revenue, expense, and withdrawal. We know assets are 1, liabilities are 2, capital 3, revenue 4, expense 5, and withdrawals are 3. Typically, this can be different. The normal balances for the accounts: assets are debit, liability, capital, and revenue are all credit accounts. So that means they increase when they're credited. Expenses and withdrawals are debit accounts. Now if we look at the transaction, we can see first of all that it was paid. So that means money went into our bank account. So if we look at our chart of accounts, we're going to use cash RBC because it's an asset and it's increasing. I know I drew the arrow the wrong way. It's increasing and it would be a debit. Now we're going to look at our GST charged on sale. It's a liability account. And we know that our GST went up. We owe the government money. It's a liability, so it's going to be a credit. Our QST charged is exactly the same thing. It's a liability. We owe more because we collected this money. And the last part of this transaction is going to be the subtotal. It's our revenue. It's what we actually made. So of the $1,953, $1,699 is what we collected. The 84 and the 169 we're holding for the government. And that's why revenue is going to go up by $1,699.40. So if we take this over to T accounts, our first account's cash. Our cash went up. So we're going to use the left side, we're going to debit this asset account. And then we'll check it off to know it's done. We're going to do our DST charged, which we know is a liability. And because it increased, it's on the left-hand side. We'll check it off, and then we'll do the same for QST charged. $169.52. And then last but not least, we need to account for our revenue. I'm using revenue because our chart of accounts doesn't necessarily match the cardboard box company. That's just an example. In this example, we would have to add a different account. And then just to make it a little bit easier when we do our general journal entries, I'm going to put the account numbers next to the account name. So cash RBC is 1060. GST charged is going to be 2310. QST charged is going to be 2410. And then revenue, I'm going to use 4,000, which in our chart of accounts is sales of instruments, but it's just an example and it'll work for now. And that's it, we're pretty much done. That's how we're going to enter a cash sale. The next step would be our date and getting to the general journal entries.